Hello, everyone. It is April 23rd, 2022. This is a little article I put together just to see if I can do it. As I said, this is all learning for me and trying to keep my voice working. I never thought my voice would get gravelly as I got older. I should have known. Plus, hay fever, allergies, mowing the grass, trying to put in a little bit of a garden. That's probably some of it. Speaking of the garden, did you know that spring crops will fail across North America if they don't get nitrogen? This engineered holding of fertilizer shipment appears to be timed to severely disrupt spring planting across North America. This is consistent with what we have all observed with Joe Biden's, let's just say, shutdown of America's energy infrastructure, which began on day one of his presidency when he signed a stack of executive orders shutting down energy pipelines. I guess you'll notice I leave a few words out so that you can read between the lines. From that very first day, Joe and his handler have been meticulously deconstructing America's food and energy infrastructure, causing shortages and price inflation. Yet as prices and scarcity both continue to worsen, Jen Psaki says it's all Putin's fault. I don't know if it is or not, but we will continue because I got these thoughts from reading some stuff I've been reading this week. This is probably old news to most everybody, but I usually don't post something, especially when I type it up, unless I'm pretty sure it's pretty true. So most of you don't know what CF Industries is, but Tony Will reveals how fertilizer is being selectively targeted. And we're not talking about the home garden, your tomato plants in your backyard. We're talking about corporations grow a lot of corn. Even soybeans need a little bit of fertilizing. The timing of this action by Union Pacific could not come at a worse time for farmers. And Tony Will is President and Chief Executive Officer. Not only will fertilizer be delayed by the shipping restrictions, but additional fertilizer needed to complete spring applications may be unable to reach farmers at all by placing this arbitrary restriction on just a handful of shippers. When I was in the farming business, after getting out of the lawn business, fertilizer was the main thing. And it was the main reason I retired from the lawn business and the reason I retired from farming. Because prices were crazy. Being, I guess, a small truck farmer, I think at one time I had 2 acres in truck produce. And I found out that most of the sweet corn being sold in Missouri and Kansas was coming from a place around Clinton, Missouri. And one of the ways that they had the beautiful, beautiful sweet corn with no worms in the end of it was because they grew it like they grow ethanol corn. And that is, they used ammonium nitrate, injected it into the soil. They weren't using the GMO. They were spraying it to keep the little worms out of the end of it. So people like me who had little scrawny ears of corn, we couldn't hardly sell it because these guys who had 5,000 acres of sweet corn that had been fertilized with ammonium nitrate and sprayed with what did they use? Was it 7? They used something that killed the moths because moths lay worms and eat your food. But if you have one of those monarch caterpillars on your tomatoes, your first instinct is to pull them off and go fishing. But of course, those turn into, what are they called? Monarch butterflies. But a moth, he's just a mean old thing. Then, of course, you have corn rootworm. So you have to inject some of that in the soil. And what is a corn earworm? Well, if it's in the roots of corn, it's a corn earworm. If it's on your cucumbers, it's a cucumber beetle. If it's laying eggs in your tomatoes, it's called, I'll cut that out, save it, and make some pasta sauce and can it. So as to finish this article up, widespread food insecurity will lead to global uprisings and revolutions. Hungry people don't have the energy to do that. And they're cutting back on food stamp benefits. But anyway, I understand there are some people who, when faced with the bad news, resort to saying things like, I can't handle any more bad news. I choose to pretend that the food supply will be fine. To those people, I would beg you to consider your stance, because you cannot pretend to be not starving when you're starving. And most people aren't starving in the United States. They are overweight because of their food choices, but that's just my opinion. And this is a take, and this is a wrap up. And I'll see you all tomorrow because I got a couple more articles. And like I said, sometimes I'm late with these articles, but I want to be sure they're correct. And this one I believe in. There'll be food shortages, fertilizer shortages, and it's just the beginning, folks.